Welcome to It's All Fine and Dangy, where we talk about community, health, culture, and all of the big and little things that make life good. Here are your hosts, Dan and Angie.
Hey guys, and welcome to the It's All Fine and Dangy podcast. We are already at episode 81.
Yes, we are.
We are on that
Trucking
countdown.
right along. Well, I can't talk. I can. Does anybody realize I can never talk right in the beginning of the show?
You said trucking right along.
Whatever.
Trucking right along. We'll save that for the outtakes, maybe.
Okay, yes. You always have a nice outtakes. But anyway, yes. Episode 81, guys.
81, yes. And welcome to the show. And if you haven't tuned in before, welcome as a new listener. We do the show every week, and we'll be on YouTube. We'll be on all your favorite podcast players or directly on our website at fineanddangy.com.
That's right.
And tonight we have a very special guest.
Something everyone will be interested in.
And
definitely.
Indeed. Helpful for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And we've never done one like this before. We've never had a guest on like this before. So we are very excited to introduce James Hicks from Hicks Financial Asset and Wealth Management. James, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, how you guys doing?
Very good. How are you doing tonight?
I am amazing. I'm amazing. Thank you guys for giving me this opportunity. I'm excited to be on your show.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we got your name from Shanta Gardner from Wynn Styles Boutique. We had her on a while back.
She was amazing.
Yes.
And she sent me your contact information, and we love supporting small businesses, especially here local in our town. So welcome to the show, James.
Yes, I have to remember to thank her for that. That's awesome.
Yes, I will definitely send an email to her thanking her, and I'm sure she'll be checking your show out as well.
Oh, yes. I hope so.
Well, this is a win-win because I'm excited to learn a little bit about you, of course, but also about the services that you offer. I think, as Angie said, these are the kinds of things that no one I know goes, oh, it's a financial and asset wealth management. Yeah, I don't need that.
No, nobody does that. Nobody in their right mind does that.
Nobody in their right mind does that.
That's right.
Actually, probably the people that do that are the people that need the services the most.
That need it the most,
Those
usually.
are the ones that need to be booking an appointment today with James.
Yeah, today.
Right.
Call me.
That's right. So as we kick off the show, as we do with everybody, James, we just like to get to know you a little bit personally. So just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Awesome. Amazing. Hey, Dan and Angie, once again, thank you guys. I really appreciate this opportunity.
You're so welcome.
Yeah. Well, I've lived in the Apopka area. I went to Apopka High School. I've lived in the Apopka area since I was Apopka High School. Yeah. Graduated class of 97. So,
very nice. 89, class of 89 right here.
There we go. Go Blue Darters.
We got a few years on you, James.
Just a few. Not that many. Just a few. Not that many.
So I'm going to jump in just a second and tell you, I actually recently was invited to join the Apopka High School Alumni Board. So I'm part of that now. So you said Go Blue Darters. I'm thinking that's all we've been talking about lately is rescuing the old darter bird that's in the pond now. So that's one of our first things we're going to do.
That would be good. Oh, that would be good. Yeah, push for that. That would be really huge. That would be really huge.
So continue. I didn't mean to interrupt, but that excited me because the same school I went to.
Yeah, same school. Yep. Went to Apopka High School, graduated in 97. Then I went to Valencia Community College. And then after that, went to UCF. Do we have something else in common there?
Yeah, dang. I'm telling you.
I didn't go to UCF, but that's very cool. Awesome. So you've been in the area your whole life then?
I wouldn't say my whole life. My dad was military, so we moved around a whole lot.
Oh, okay.
And Apopka ended up being his last duty station, and that's where he retired. So pretty much since then, since I was 15, I've been here in Central Florida and basically in Apopka. I live in Altamont Springs now, but I've been in Apopka basically the whole time. So
very nice.
Definitely a son of the community.
Are you like me, James? And do you just consider yourself a Floridian since you've been here since you've been 15? Yeah.
Definitely. Consider myself a Floridian. I love the fact that the beach is 30, 40 minutes away. I love that. Sir. That's what Floridians love. I love that the weather is fairly consistent for the most part. You got pretty good weather most of the time. Mm-hmm. I'm a Floridian 100%.
Very nice. Well, I will say this, and I've said this before, but I was born in the Apopka Hospital, so I've been here my entire life.
Your entire life? Oh, wow.
That hospital's not even around anymore. But I say, when you've been here that long, you're a native anyway.
You're a native.
Anywhere you've been that long.
Yeah, I'm a native. This is home. This is what I know. And as far as I know, this will pretty much be home unless something changes. I have no issues with Central Florida. I love Florida in general. And most of my immediate family, mom and dad, sisters, are all here. So my nieces, nephews, goddaughter, everybody's here. So I'm pretty much stuck for the most part.
Oh, that's great, though. It's kind of nice to have your whole
here. It's nice.
Your whole family around there. Same here. I hear, so many people. I got to go. It's the holidays. I have to go fly up and see my parents. Or, it's kind of nice when they're all in driving distance.
In driving distance, right? Don't have to fight the traffic. Don't have to, wait in the airport and all that kind of stuff. Have canceled flights. Everything is right here local. Save a lot of money that way.
Indeed. Yes, indeed. I keep saying that tonight.
Indeed. That's your word. That's your word of the night. That's his catchphrase.
Get ready for it. Indeed it is.
I also went to Webster University. I went and got my master's degree, got my MBA from Webster. They have an Orlando campus here. They're located in St. Louis, but they have a campus here. And that was back in 2015 when I finished with Webster. It's funny. I graduated in October 31st on Halloween. So Halloween is easy to remember the graduation day.
Yeah.
That's our favorite holiday. So, my favorite holiday is Halloween because, yes, we love dressing up.
I'm a Christmas guy myself. But
you know what? That's me. I
would say he loves Christmas more than Halloween.
I love Halloween a lot, but my favorite is still Christmas. Indeed.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, here we go. Me and Dan are going to have to hang out. We got too much in common.
I'm telling you.
This is too much. We have
too much in common. Yeah, I know. That's great. I already bought my Christmas ornament this year.
Yes,
even.
He's ready. Oh, you're ready.
He's ready.
Oh, man.
People are complaining that there's like Christmas decorations out. I'm like, who cares? It lasts longer that way.
Exactly. Why not start early? Why not start early? Let the holidays just go on through for 2 or 3 months. There's nothing wrong with that.
Why does it matter? It comes and goes so fast.
It comes and goes so fast. I say the longer the better.
Well, that's cool that you're local and that that you've grown up in the area, and it's that's kind of what we really strive to do is help support the local community, and that you are the definition of the local community, local business owner. So I have probably a silly question here.
Okay.
Your company is Financial Asset and Wealth Management.
Yes, sir.
Before I ask you when you got, when you first found that you were interested in this, because that's the question I'm leading to. What even is that?
Okay, no. What that is basically I like to help people. I like to call it become financially free, whether with their assets and with the wealth that they're developing. I like them to help them become financially free. For the most part, that is through budget and financial management. And that is helping individuals with their budget and financial management. You guys probably know most people struggle in that area.
Oh, yeah,
of course.
And it's an area that they don't like to talk about. It's one of those areas where if you're struggling, you don't say anything until it gets really, really bad. And now it's really hard to get out of the situation.
Yeah.
And I don't think it has to be that way.
So I guess more specifically what I meant was, what is asset management? Because that's the part I don't think I fully understand. What does that mean?
Right. Well, first let me say it this way, because my company is going to evolve, and eventually, not at this time, eventually I will get into a point where I will be investing finances for individuals and clients, whether investing into the stock market and mutual funds, bonds, so on and so forth. So
that's what it means by asset.
Yes, I will be expanding it to that. So that's kind of a preparation. But at the same time, whatever assets that any of my clients have now that they need some counseling on, I'm definitely more than happy to help them in that area on how to better manage that and how to better handle those situations.
Oh, very
nice.
Cool. So assets are considered things like maybe properties they own or,
exactly.
I don't know, bonds they've been given, things like that.
But you know what? I never thought of it like this, but any of the stocks that you own are technically your assets. And that's partially what you're talking about.
That's true. And technically your home could be an asset in a sense. I mean, there's a lot of things that can be considered an asset in people's lives. And all of that adds to your financial well-being, your whole all around financial status. So when I'm sitting with clients, I'm asking different questions. What are the different assets that you have? Because depending on how bad their situation is or how good their situation is, that can really make a difference.
So really, assets are just anything that you own that you don't owe money on. That it's a material form of value.
Value, anything you own that's of value. Asset would be value. Liability would be something that's taking money from you. Assets usually something that's making money from you. Stocks, your house, with equity, things like that.
Yeah.
Very nice. Cool. Very nice. So when did you find out you were interested? I mean, how did you get into this type of business?
Yeah, great question. I decided to go back to school, like I said, and got my MBA from Webster here locally in Orlando. And really, initially, I decided to get my MBA to kind of climb the corporate ladder. Just like you all, I still, work a regular job, and I work in pharmaceuticals. I work as a sales specialist in the pharmaceutical area. So basically a pharmaceutical rep. So I was getting the MBA to kind of work up the ladder, but I really started to fall in love with the financial aspect, taking the financial classes, seeing how these companies balance their budgets and seeing how they, move money around. It really became very interesting to me.
Wow.
And then during that time, I had a lot of friends like, oh, you're getting an MBA. So obviously, you know about, finances and stuff. Hey, I'm having some issues. You think you could help or give me some ideas? So before I know it, I'm sitting with my friends and I'm, creating a spreadsheet for them, and I'm doing like a financial analysis, and I'm telling them what they need to do and what they need to change. And I saw the light bulb come on in their face, and then the light bulb hit me, and I'm like, well, really, if I can do this on this level, I can really make a business out of this.
Right. And it's your passion. So you're going to be great at it.
And I really like doing it. I did. I had fun doing it. And so 2015, before I graduated, we did a capstone. They call it capstone. It's their final project.
And
the final project, you're familiar. There we go. You're familiar. The final project was we had to put together a business. And basically they did it almost Shark Tank style. You put together a business and you go to class, and all of your other fellow students kind of chop it up and try to, kind of break it down. Well, how are you going to do this? And how are you going to get money for that? And how are you going to fund this? How are you going to pay that? And whatever.
Oh, I love it.
So I really, at the time, it was just an idea. I said, I'll just create Hicks Financial. It'll be, an investment and financial planning firm. And I did all the research and I did it, and they, kind of, went at it and attacked it, but I was able to cover myself, and I had all the answers. And in 2015, it was really just an idea.
It planted that seed.
But then, it planted the seed. And years later, now come 2020, COVID hit, and I'm home, and I'm, I'm still working from home, but I have a lot of spare time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what, James, I think it's time to put this thing in action. Let's go ahead and do it. And ever since I really made the decision to do it, it's definitely been a blessing. God has blessed it, and I, started getting clients, and here we go. Now I'm here on Fine and Angie.
Well, nice.
Wow.
Very nice.
That is pretty cool. So you graduated in 2015. When did you actually start the business when COVID hit?
Well, what I was doing basically between 2015 and 2020 is I was still working with friends. I still had friends coming to me and saying, hey, James, help me out and give me some advice. And so I'm steadily working with them. And really, I saw that as kind of my grooming and kind of, learning
practice.
some tricks of the trade. Yeah. I put together my spreadsheets and things like that. Mm-hmm. So 2020, when I finally pulled the trigger and said, you know what, let's do this, most of everything I needed was already pretty much set up.
That's great.
Because I've been doing it already for 5 years.
Oh my gosh. So you know what I love is that the name of it, Asset and Wealth Management, really you're just kind of doing wealth management right now, but you planted that seed in there with the name of your company.
Like
that's
looking ahead.
That's going to bring you that success.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We've had so many great interviews with people who their businesses are just thriving because of that kind of thought process. You know what I mean? That kind of positive thinking, and you're just putting it out there, and it just happens. Just like this kind of just happened,
And that is actually what I use with my clients, that whole positive thinking and thinking ahead. When you're dealing with clients who have issues financially and they're really in a rut, they really don't really know where to go and what to do, I kind of try to plant that same seed. Hey, this is something that we look at for the long term. We're going to put together a structure that right now is going to be hard. It's going to take a lot of discipline. You're really going to have to cut back here and there. But if you look at it over the long term, you'll start to see the benefits. Because I like to break it down from a futuristic standpoint. Hey, saving this amount of money now will equal in a year this amount, in 2 years this amount. Now you have enough money to put a down payment on a home. Now you have enough money to get yourself out of debt, so on and so forth. And I think when you really look at things from a long-term perspective, it gives you more of a positive aspect. And it did with me and the company.
Oh, that's great. And you're also showing people kind of the light at the end of the tunnel, too. Like when you can actually show them on paper like that.
Yeah.
I don't think most people can put their thoughts around that.
Right. It's not tangible.
It's large numbers.
Yeah. It doesn't seem tangible. But when you can actually see the target, then I'm the type of person that is better with the actual target on paper or in front of me. But so I was going to ask you what services you offer, because I don't want to make too many assumptions, but it sounds like your primary service is to help people save the right amount of money per paycheck to get to a point to where they can be financially balanced, or to retire, or all of the above?
A little bit of all of the above. As far as my services, the first thing, and usually probably the main thing I do, is I call it budget creation. That tends to be an area that people really struggle with. Sure. And even if they create one, sticking to it it tends to be hard.
They need accountability.
Yes, they need accountability. and discipline is a really big part. I really have to teach a lot of disciplinary strategies.
You're like a financial coach, basically.
I really am. I really am. Because for me, it's a long-term thing. I look at it this way. Just like most people have their mechanic that they go to and they'll keep them long-term, I have a doctor that I've been going to for probably over 20 years now. Yeah. And I want to be that person on the financial side that, hey, I teach them, I teach their kids, and I want it to be a long-term relationship. So it's definitely not just a one and done situation for me.
Very nice.
Definitely the budget creation, helping them put together a budget, giving them disciplinary strategies on how to stick with the budget so that they don't fall off. Another thing is a financial assessment is something that's also part of what I do, which is kind of what we talked about earlier, really getting a full idea of their financial situation. Yes. What debt are they in? If they've had any, foreclosures or repossessions, and, how much money do they have on hand? How much money do they make? How much money do they have invested? A financial assessment is very important because you really have to be able to see where you really are. A lot of people have no idea how bad their situation is. They just know I can't pay the bills, and I'm, I have to wait till the next check, and I'm behind on this. But sometimes you have to really put it in their face and say, "Listen, this is where you are, and it's pretty bad. We have to fix this." And when you see it, it's like, "Whoa, okay, we really do have to fix this."
I have been through sort of a financial analysis years ago, but that's where your debt to income ratio comes in.
There we go. Yes, sir.
The amount of assets versus the amount of debt versus the amount of cash.
There we go.
I've done the balance sheet before where you get to the point to where you maybe not as bad as you thought. Maybe you're worse. And that's why
that's true.
Recently, not to tell too much about our personal situation, but we recently refinanced our house for 15 years.
Good
so
move.
We got 14 and a half years left to pay it.
Awesome.
but I'd say over the course of maybe the past 6 or 7 years, I have gotten to a point to where I don't, a lot of people owe car payments and motorhome payments or boat payments. Right. We don't owe payments on anything except for just our house.
Yep. That's amazing.
And
That's
a
amazing.
very small amount of credit card debt that could be paid in 2 paychecks. So
good.
I'm not saying we've got it nailed up perfect, because another thing I want to talk about was you talk about the discipline. And I was thinking about this before we got on the call with you. When we were kids and when we were younger, to spend money, even if you were using a credit card and in a nonsensical way, you had to go somewhere. You had to get in your car and go to a store. And I think of the kids now, and heck, I think of the adults and like Amazon for us even, And on one hand, you think, I was used to drive to Walmart or Target or whatever and buy this anyway. But having the store in your hand at all times, I think especially for younger people, that is probably a challenge for you.
A huge challenge. And that is where the discipline comes in. That's when I have to really talk about those disciplinary strategies, maybe even deleting the app, off the phone. Let's get it out the way. Let's not look at it. Let's set a goal of maybe for 30 days, we're not buying anything extra.
All right.
And setting the budget to where, hey, I make sure that, hey, the budget has some flexibility. So for those areas, hey, you have a certain amount that you can spend, but we can't go past that. Yeah. This is the amount. So
it's like a diet, because if you're too strict, you won't do it, right?
That's the idea. That's the idea. It can't be too strict because nobody's going to stick to it. You have to leave a little leeway room for them to have fun and to do things and to go out. But at the same time, make sure they understand that, hey, we have a goal. We have a goal that we need to hit by a certain amount of time. And I like to even set dates and time frames. Like, hey, in 3 months, we need to have, this set up, this much saved, this additional account set up, so on and so forth. In 6 months, we need to have so on and so forth. So that they actually have some, measurable idea of where we're trying to go.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. So I'm a health coach. So it's you've got to have well, we're talking about accountability, but I was going to say, how do you actually hold them accountable to you? Do you have little follow-up sessions?
Yep.
Is that what you do?
Yep. Okay. Yep. Follow-up sessions. Because some other stuff I also do like a net worth analysis. just to find out. Most people don't really have an idea what their net worth is. And then also when I do that, strategies on how to grow your net worth, how to get it in the positive and not in the negative. I also do debt consultation. Don't talk about people's debt. A lot of people have more debt than they realize.
Yeah. And that can be embarrassing for people to talk about.
Which is usually very embarrassing.
I've been there. It is embarrassing.
You think somebody's got money because they have all this stuff. All that stuff is just on plastic.
Exactly. Listen, that Netflix account, the Google Play that costs you a little bit, all these little extra bills, small bills that you think, oh, that's just $10. Yeah. Oh, that gym membership, that's just $20, and that all of that adds up.
Yes.
And if you're not careful, that can become debt. Now you're kind of underwater. And to go back to answer your question, I have to have follow-ups. I do follow-ups with my clients and check with them month to month and see, hey, how are we doing? And guess what? It's just like anything else. Like you mentioned, you're a health coach. Like when you're doing a diet, you're going to slip up. I spending this extra money here, and I was in Walmart. I hear a lot about Walmart.
Yeah.
I was in Walmart.
Not the end of the world. Yeah.
And I spent this extra money. Hey, it's not a problem. How it's set up is usually it's set up to where, everything is in a category. You can probably take money from here and put it over here to kind of balance it out. Yeah. And let's get back on track. So
you just can't remember, hey, I can always pull money from that other thing. You got to make sure you don't have bad habits like that.
Exactly. And it's because for me, I have to always remember, because I have that kind of mind, it's pretty easy for me. It comes pretty natural as far as discipline and what I need to do, but it's not that way for everybody.
Yeah.
So I have to make sure that I'm very understanding when it comes to clients that, hey, they don't think like me. This is a real issue for them. Just like fixing a car would be an issue for me. I don't know anything about cars.
Me too. We got a lot in common.
We have a lot in common.
That's why you save your money and you pay somebody else to do it.
Exactly. That's why you have an emergency fund. So if that car breaks down, hey, I can take it to my favorite mechanic and get it settled, and it's all good. But I also do small business consultations as well.
Oh, nice.
Which there's a lot of small businesses, and this is what I've learned about small businesses. Like, let's just say a chef, somebody maybe starting a small restaurant. A lot of times they're very, very good at cooking and very, very good at preparing the meal and the food. That's what they do. Mm-hmm. That doesn't necessarily mean they're good at their finances and good at handling the money for that business.
We have a friend that owns a local restaurant, and he kind of talked about how getting his feet wet in the business was kind of similar. Amazing food, amazing service, and the books and all was part of, he was telling us he had to figure out how to work.
Right. Because I work, like I say, my day job is in pharmaceutical sales, and I deal with a lot of physicians and doctors. Sure. And, you get personal and you learn a lot about them. And that's something I learned from them. They say, hey, we're good at, healing people and taking care of people and medication, but there's a business side to this, especially if they have their own practice. There's a huge business side. They have, they have employees and people that they have to pay. And a lot of times they're not taught that in med school.
Right.
That's something they have to teach themselves. And that's where the issue comes in, where it could actually be a problem. So I do small business consultation. And one last thing that I just kind of added to my repertoire, and I really realized that I think it really fits, is a corporate career development is what I call it.
I was going to ask about that one. I was very interested in hearing about that.
Yes. And I added that because the clients that I have so far, a lot of them are, hey, I need more money, or I'm not really getting paid enough, but I do not know how to negotiate a salary. I don't know how to get the salary I want. I don't know how to, ask or get the right promotion that I want, or what should I put on my resume, or, little tricks of the trade to really get to the place that you want to go. And I've been working in corporate America well over 15 years and had different positions. I tend to be very knowledgeable on those little tricks of the trade and areas to kind of help people get into a better situation. And it still falls into the financial realm, because it's helping people make more money so that they can pay their bills and they can, make a better budget. So it all goes hand in hand.
Well, that part of it, all of this is very exciting to me, but that part of it is especially exciting to me because I hate to keep saying this, but I've been in the corporate world for 30 years. I'm very comfortable with that too, but more than 30 years, since I was 17. I'm almost 50. But what a service to think that you can hire someone that comes and helps you balance your budget, get your finances right, get yourself out of debt if you're in trouble, but also help you to make more money, not just to get out of debt, but to more more easily secure your financial future. What a great tie-in. And I never would have thought of that as a service you can get from something like that.
And you know what I think of too, to anybody listening out there who has college students that are just starting to come out and really look for that that job in that career that they are, really wanting to go into, this would be a great start for them to meet with James and kind of build the resume and give them those ideas of how am I going to get paid and not just offered this measly, amount of money.
Exactly.
Just because I'm a newbie or something. You know what I mean?
Like, and I'm sure Dan understands, but most people are nervous to negotiate a salary. They usually just kind of take the first thing that falls on their lap. They don't know that they are actually expecting you to negotiate.
Yes.
Because I've been on both sides of the table.
Yeah.
So they have a budget that they're working with, and usually they start you on the low end. But there's usually room, for movement for them to give you more money. And and this is the thing, if you do not negotiate, a lot of times that extra money goes to the person that's willing to negotiate.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the other person they hire that will negotiate, somebody's going to get it. That money doesn't just stay on the table. Somebody gets it. So I would rather it be one of my clients than somebody else.
That is an awesome service that you offer,
really
James.
is.
I've never heard of anything like that. That's I mean, there's people that'll help you with your resume, but this is really geared towards you kind of selling yourself and fighting for what you deserve.
Value. And I will tell you, as someone who's, I've been in management for over 15 years, and I 100% agree with you. People are very uncomfortable. Yeah. And even if they're doing well, they're very uncomfortable. Most people are very uncomfortable with that whole process. Right. So I love that you do that.
And even interviews. A lot of people don't, effectively know how to interview. There are a lot of key words that you can say. There's a lot of experience that people have that they don't think is important, but you could actually use that in an interview to actually push you forward and get that promotion or that specific management job that you're looking for if you would just use it. Because the landscape has really changed. A lot of companies nowadays put a lot of value on what experience you bring to the table. Yes. They still look at education, but experience is a really big deal.
Oh, it's huge. And
it's huge.
And like in the tech industry, I like to talk about the fact that places like Google don't require college education anymore.
There we go.
They want to see your portfolio. They want to see what you know.
Exactly, Dan. That's really the point. People sell themselves short because they think, because I don't really have the education or this and that I can't get promoted. I can't get that management job. That's not necessarily the case. If you're able to go to that interview and show, hey, I worked for a nonprofit and I did this for a nonprofit. I worked in management with nonprofits and I did such and such and such. Or at my local church, at my local church, I do such and such. There are a lot of different experiences that people have that they don't equate to working on their best behalf, but it actually can. And I try to put all that together to give them the best opportunity to move forward.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
So you're really like picking their brain as far as, well, what do you do? Do you volunteer? And then you're pulling from that and saying, what can we take and work that into your resume?
Exactly. Even really cool. Military experience. I have sometimes I had military experience. Hey, that's awesome. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you do in the military that shows strong leadership. Sure. And, some people kind of take some of that for granted and don't talk about everything they did in the military. No, use that in an interview and allow you to push forward. So that resumes, most people don't really know some of the important stuff to put on a resume and how to line it up, some keywords, especially when you're talking about executive level jobs, you get into management, director level. There are certain things that they're really looking for. And if you really don't know, you can miss good opportunities just because you don't know the information.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Don't know how to put it together.
So I have to ask this question. Yeah. So with being in financial management, what is that question? The one question that you get asked most frequently? Like, what are people asking you? Your friends, your family, like all of those that, want the free advice.
The main thing they ask is, how do I make more money? That's what everybody wants to know. Everybody wants to know, how do I make more money? How do I make more money? And if I'm giving a basic answer, I always tell them it's not necessarily about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep.
Yeah.
How much money you keep. Because I strongly feel most people make enough money. They're just not keeping enough money.
Yeah.
Because they're spending it here and there and there. They're going to lunch every day. They're buying coffee every morning.
Yeah.
They're paying for a gym membership that they don't go to.
Yeah.
They're paying for like cable at the house when they only watch Netflix and not even use the cable. They're still paying for a house phone that they don't use. There's a lot of areas that's snatching your money, and you're not keeping those funds. Right. My job is to look at all of that and then sit at the table and show you this is going to go, that's going to go, that's going to go, that's going to go. At the end of the day, we're going to save this much, and we're going to put this in this account, put this in that account. This may go to an emergency fund. This may go into an investment account, so on and so forth. And in 3 months, this is how much we're gonna have. Then we're gonna take a little bit of that and help pay off some of this debt, that debt. My job is to be that coach, that financial coach that's going to point you in the right direction.
That's awesome. And it's a slow and steady road. You know what I mean? What people need to understand, just like a diet. You're not going to lose 10 pounds in 2 days. Like that's it. And if you do, it's not right. It's not, you're not doing it the right way. Something's wrong. So you want them to learn it kind of slow, let it sink in a little bit. You know what I mean? And earn it a little bit, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
I would say unless you're an absolute financial disaster, I've known a couple of guys like this in my life that make really good money. I think you know one of them. And so much of it is lost on we all have our subscriptions to things, but sometimes I think, just like you said, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep, because I've known people that make a lot of money and it goes everywhere. They don't even know where it's going.
They don't even know. They don't know where it's going. I just recently had a client I was speaking to, and of course she was like, hey, I need to make more money, so I think I need to, find a new job that pays me more money. And I was like, okay. I said, well, what, before we talk about finding a new job, what don't you like about your job? And she's like, well, I actually love everything about the job. It's close to home, and it's, I'm able to go home quick and do everything with the kids and this and that. And she said, I love the people I work with. She had no real issues with the job, but she just had an issue with the money. So then I had to explain to her, if everything is going well with the money, everything's going well with the job, how about we look at how you're spending your money and see if we can adjust that and see if we can get you to keep more money. So after we were able to look at it, she realized that really it wasn't a money issue she had. It was more of a discipline issue that
spending,
she had. So it was more on the spending side. And then after that, now we can talk about, okay, how do we look into getting you a promotion at the job when that time comes around? Let's start preparing for that so that you don't have to leave the job that you love. And sometimes we get confused because we're looking at the money and we end up leaving a very good job and say we make more money, but we hate our manager and we hate the people that we work with. So is it worth the extra $10 an hour to hate going to work? It's not worth it.
You won't last there.
You're not going to last. You're going to be right back at square one. So I gave her, that type of advice saying, let's not rush to leave the job. Let's try to work this out at the job and just make this work, and then look into making more money at the job that you already love.
I love it. That is amazing advice.
That is amazing. You've got me also wondering, with COVID and so many people working at home, when you said so close to home, it kind of made me think of this. Do you find now in this climate where people are working from home, and I know some people are a little more fearful about losing their jobs, do you see that you're getting more people more interested in saving now?
They are. They're more interested in saving, and they're looking, and which is a good thing. They're looking at this as a good opportunity to try to fix some things that might have went overlooked. So that is a positive. Reassess everything because they have more time on their hands. Usually, if you're working from home, you have a little more time on your hands, and you start really noticing that maybe I need to take some time to kind of look at this. So I've definitely gotten a few calls about that, saying, "Hey, I heard you on such and such podcast or this interview. I really want to talk to you how I can make things different." And I think this is the perfect time. We all know we want COVID to leave as soon as possible. Yeah. But for a lot of people, it has opened up opportunities and given us a chance to really look at things a lot closer than if our lives are busy and we're moving and we're going here and we're at the movies and we got a birthday party we got to go to and a swimming party. A lot of that stuff is shut down. So now we can sit down and look at our budget.
Yeah. And not only that, I think it's put a sense of urgency into people because stuff like this doesn't normally happen. Maybe it hasn't happened in our lifetime, and all of a sudden you can't go to work. You know what I mean? You can't go out of your house. Yeah. But you have to go to the things are happening. I mean, so it puts like this sense of urgency, like I need to be prepared if something like this
happens. Exactly.
for a lot of industries, I mean, I've been very fortunate because I'm IT. We can work remotely anytime.
Right.
We pretty much do that before this.
Right.
But for a lot of people that I know in a lot of careers, it also, you always think, well, I can get another job there if times get rough. But with a situation like this, you might not be able to.
Yeah. Exactly. And the real idea is, as you all know, when you have financial issues, that comes with a lot of stress.
Oh,
especially if you lose your job and you don't have an emergency fund set up.
Yeah.
Oh, you're stressed out. And what that usually goes is that now you will take a job that you really don't want just for the money. And now that stresses you out more because you're not making enough money and you don't like the job.
And you're growing, you're probably floating credit cards and getting deeper in debt.
And you're getting deeper in debt, which is causing more stress. Your blood pressure's going up and everything. It can cause a whole lot of other issues.
And here come the medical bills.
And here come the medical bills. You see how those dominoes keep falling?
Yeah, baby.
So that's the stuff that I sit and talk to people about because, sometimes you really have to sell them on how important this is. I want all of my clients to be in a situation that, hey, if you lose your job, you're not spazzing out because, hey, I'm good for a little while. So I can take the time and find the right opportunity, the right job. And I'm not stressing and pulling my hair out because, hey, I don't have enough money to pay the bills next month.
Right.
Because that's a level of stress.
We've known people like that. A friend of ours who she's got a gap now. She's financially sound enough for a gap and to take a break, have a little fun, kind of get out and do some stuff. And then really assess the proper jobs for her, so it's the best one for her, financially as well as mentally.
And then the idea is when you're, like I like to call it, financially free, you're not as stressed when stuff like that comes up at the job. Say they say, oh, we're going to lay off people and this and that's going to happen. A lot of people really start spazzing out, like, what am I going to do without my job? But if you're in a good situation, that doesn't shake you as much because you know that, hey, I'm pretty stable. And if, I do lose my job, I do have something to fall back on. And I can take the time to find the right position and the right job. And then also, when you're in a good situation financially, you may not take as much, just call it crap. You might not take as much crap from the job as you normally would take because what? If I really hate this job, listen, I'll quit. I'll take some time to myself and I'll find the job that I love. But a lot of people are so stuck financially that they have to stay at a job that they hate, with a manager they hate because they have to keep that check coming.
Yes.
And it just causes more problems down the line. I want my clients to have options where they can choose and decide if I really don't like this position, I really don't want to be here, I don't have to be. And that's where I want them. That's the status I want them to be at.
The more financially sound you are, the more control you are of your own destiny, for sure.
There we go. That is the idea. That is the idea 100%.
So I have a question for you. We're starting to wind down here.
Okay.
And we appreciate you kind of
it's just getting good. Dan, it's just getting good. Come on.
I know. Like that's what we tell all our guests. We could literally talk for 3 hours, but nobody wants to listen for 3 hours.
This is super interesting to me.
Listen, I work in sales in my day job. I talk all day. This is what I do. My bachelor's degree was in communications. So listen, this is what I do.
I'm with you. I don't work in sales. I work in IT management, IT direction, but I talk for 6 hours a day on the phone. So I'm with you.
I'll chat your head off too. So forget about it.
Yeah, Angie. Between the two of us,
stranger in the grocery line. Oh my God, I haven't seen you in years. Never seen you before, but I talk to you like you're an old friend. That's what we do.
I love it.
So a couple questions as we're wrapping up, though. Are you seeing like a common age group that come to you, or is it all over the place?
Currently, I am starting to see a lot of, I'm 40 years old. So I was going to say, I see younger clients like in their 20s, like mid to late 20s, maybe early 30s. And what I'm running across is a lot of them that are, maybe either young couples that are about to get married and they want to, hey, we really want to be, right. So once we get married, we're in a good financial situation. So we want to talk to somebody, or just that young person that really just got their first real corporate job and making some, pretty decent money, but they don't want to blow it. They have questions about.
I thought you were going to say young people that are in debt and in trouble.
No, not necessarily.
Nice.
It's funny. The people that I meet in those situations are older individuals.
Yeah.
They're my age.
That is
our generation.
Because our parents didn't teach us about money when we were younger.
There we go. They
didn't really tell us what to do with, we didn't have that direction. So it's like our age people that are,
That's that sort of gives us all a sense of hope for the next generation.
Yeah,
seems like they've got their head on straight at a younger age.
And it makes me very proud. They're coming early. A lot of young people have a lot of small businesses that they're starting. So I have a few of those that are coming to me and wanting more information, and I love it. But it's the older ones that have they're in some deep doo-doo financially. Yeah. So those are the ones that I'm helping out more when it comes to that stuff. But the younger ones seem to be okay, or at least they're getting help early, which is the thing. They're getting help early so that they can be focused, and then they won't make the mistakes that prior generations have made.
Yeah, and I think that with the the younger generations, they're kind of going for what they want to do.
Yes.
Like it's not like us. We are, you were taught you get a good job that pays good money and you stay there, and that's what you
and you stay, right. You stay there. Totally different.
Don't matter if you're miserable. Like you just stay. Make the money.
It's totally different now.
So I love that they are just going in a different direction, and they're like, I'm going to be happy at what I do and make, I don't think they're so money focused is the thing. The money comes to them because they're good at what they do.
Right. And very much more, this generation is still big on education, but definitely the experience side. Very experienced, social media, very experienced in IT, like you said, Dan, knowing a lot about the different computers, different softwares and things like that. I run into a lot of people who are very experienced in their area, and they might not have necessarily went to school for it, but they've definitely learned a lot, from wherever they come from. They have a lot of experience. So it's very interesting.
That's what's keeping me young, see?
Yeah.
or aging me faster.
That's what it is. So I have a question. So what is the most challenging and the most rewarding parts of what you do?
Challenging. The most challenging part of what I do is teaching, I guess, the disciplinary side, the discipline that comes with doing this. That's the main thing. You have to be disciplined. Once I set the plan in front of you and I go through this plan, it's, I'm going to be your coach, but it's up to you to execute. If I'm a coach in basketball, I can teach you how to slam dunk and how to shoot the free throws, but once you get on the court, it's on you. Yeah. So it's really a discipline thing where it really kind of falls in their hands, and sometimes they follow it for a while and then kind of fall off. Sometimes they may not really even jump on it because they're scared and they're nervous and they're used to the old way. People don't like change. People don't like change. They don't like having to change. Who doesn't want to just walk into the store and buy what you want? Everybody wants to do that. But if you can't afford to do that, then you need to be disciplined. You need to be on a budget. So it's really, really hammering the idea of helping them look towards the future. Like, where do you want to be in 10 years and 15 years? Do you still want to scrape by and still be in the same situation? Or do you want that financial freedom where you can make those decisions? So that's probably the hardest part, is really getting them to understand the importance. The rewarding part is seeing the light bulb come on in their head when I start showing them this is what's wrong and this is how we fix it. And they're like, oh man, I didn't realize I was spending that much money on eating out every week. I had no idea. Like, oh my God, I was spending $500 a month on eating out. Like, you really are. It's pretty bad.
That's a lot of money.
We need to change that. Or I hear a lot about coffee. Coffee is a big one. Like that Starbucks habit is something else. I see why they're so successful.
I don't understand it.
Yeah, I'm not a coffee drinker myself. I'm not a coffee drinker.
We're coffee drinkers. She doesn't like Starbucks coffee.
Gross, first of all. And second of all, I like to make my coffee at home. I want my coffee in the comfortable little space that I have, and I want to make it myself because nobody else can make it the right exact way.
Yeah.
And how much money are you saving?
And that's usually for the coffee drinkers. I never tell them to just stop drinking coffee, because that's not going to happen. Why don't we invest in a coffee machine and you'll make your own coffee at home. Yeah. Save some money on that end. Sure. So it's really finding another way so they can still do what they want to do, but it's not as expensive and you can cut costs.
You know what I think of it as, because especially when you said Starbucks, and this is kind of leads to what I said earlier, but I read this big thing about Starbucks and how they were founded and how they did all this research, and their objective was for a long time. They've closed a lot of them in the past, probably 10 years. Yeah. But their objective for a long time was they did all this market research on the main travel routes to work, mostly for people that were taking like mass transit and walking. And in many big cities, they had them all mapped out where they would catch you on your way to work and on your way from work on two different routes. So
That's smart. That's pretty smart.
You ever wondered why is there a Starbucks right here and right here? That was part of their design.
That was part of their design.
But what I feel like you do, and this kind of relates to it, because I feel like apps are always knocking. Every ad on Facebook, everything's always knocking. Hey, look, it's only $1. Hey, it's only $5.
5% off. Ooh, 5%.
Or the Amazon devices, which I had to turn all this off, where they'll say, "Oh, you were talking about oatmeal. Look, do you want to buy some extra?"
I'm telling you, it's crazy.
But so what I feel like you're doing is you're almost teaching people not to get tricked, because everything is always asking for our money, whether we really need to spend it there or not.
Yeah.
Yes. And I have a little thing, it's kind of a mental thing, but I called it like the CEO in you. And basically what that means is everybody, you're your own CEO. You run your company. Like I run Hicks Financial and you run your company, whatever the Smith family, the Johnson family, you run that. So if you look at things as a CEO, do I really need to spend money on this? Does this really need to be in the budget?
Yes.
How am I doing yearly as far as my family financially?
Oh, I love that.
And I kick it that way to families. Like, listen, you guys are the CEOs. You guys have to make the how well the company does, your family basically being the company, how well they do is based on the decisions you make.
The shareholders.
So let's make the right decisions. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Let's make the right decisions so that the company can succeed. I have no problem with a family or a couple taking a vacation, but instead of the, let's say, just $5,000 vacation you want to take to Hawaii, we live in Florida. There's beaches that will make you feel like you're in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And you may only spend $1,000.
Yeah.
So how about we look at that and go to Key West or go to, Ormond Beach or wherever and have a vacation there, have a staycation and save money, still have a good time, but you're looking at the big picture.
Yeah.
And then once we get in a better situation, you get your money good and you have an emergency fund and you're making more money on the job and everything is balanced, then let's go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Now we have the money set aside to where we're not going to use that money that's bill money or that goes somewhere else. Now that's extra money that we have that we can spend and it's not going to affect our bottom line.
Very nice. You're not going to be in financial ruin from your vacation. I love that.
Exactly. That's the idea.
That's great. Well, I mean, I think everyone can definitely use this type of service and that kind of advice.
Of course.
And
everybody.
I think once we kind of regroup and the world starts getting back to normal, I would like for Angie and I to come talk to you on a financial level.
I would love to sit with you guys. I would love to.
We're getting married next year. So,
awesome.
With the combination of household,
congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you very much. And we've spent the past 3 years spending every spare minute and penny and totally renovating our house, which is 99.999% done now.
Yeah.
So
awesome
that
stuff.
has been where our energy and money have gone.
Yes, I would love to sit with you guys. That would be amazing. And congratulations.
Thank you.
It's always good, putting those finances together definitely helps. Having an extra paycheck coming in is good.
All right.
Well, truth be told, we've been living together for 7 years now.
Well, there we go. Okay. All right. Well, then you guys should have it down pat by now.
We kind of keep everything separate because, we've been in relationships.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
that's a tricky one.
Combination of money sometimes. It's
let's be completely honest. We're pretty much like, I've been in relationships with that where it's gone bad. So I'm just like, how about I just pay for everything and we keep everything separate? So it's a win-win.
I love it. I love it. It's a win-win.
I try to pay for stuff. He doesn't let me.
No.
Okay?
Hey, he's being the man. There's nothing wrong with that.
I have to fight. Well, our very first date, I tried to pay and that didn't happen.
Yeah.
We were like fighting over the bill.
But that's a good thing to
we fought for a little while.
We fake fight over that. It's funny because if we do go out to dinner back before the world ended, we would try to be sneaky and tell the server, can you give me the bill? And it'll be like, she already told me the same thing. So I have to give
with her.
So we were famous for sort of not fighting, but how good is it when you're sort of fake fighting over who gets to pay?
Yeah.
See, you guys are better than me. If I go out on a date, I'll obviously offer to pay, but if she's insistent, I'm like, well, okay.
That's
all right,
$40 I can save. I can
there
put
we go.
that in the account.
Add that to my emergency fund.
You're the smarter one financially, though. See, there you go.
Oh my God, that's great.
Oh, James, it's been very fun talking with you. Very informative, and we look forward to meeting with you on a financial level after this.
Yes, I would love to. I would love to. And hopefully, can I leave my information as far as how people can reach me?
You absolutely can. We were going to ask you that. It'll also be all over the video if you're watching this on YouTube. You've seen it. If you're listening to this on any of the podcast players, you can scroll down in the just like all of our shows, just scroll down to the show notes and you'll be able to click on all of James's website's contact information.
Perfect.
But you could tell us now as well. Sure.
Yeah, great. I mean, the main thing, hey, reach me on my website, www.hicksfinancialawm.com. You can reach me there, get more information about me, about my services and everything that I provide. Also, it has a phone number to reach me. If you want to leave me a message, you can do all that as well. I'm also on Facebook as well as Instagram also at Hicks Financial AWM. And you can look for me there. I'm always uploading new content, little tips here and there, other interviews and videos that I've done. I try to keep it interesting and just try to stay connected with everybody.
Very nice.
Love it, man.
Well, we will definitely put all those links in the show notes and in the YouTube notes as well.
Awesome. I really appreciate you guys. This was fun.
Yeah,
the time went by fast.
Okay. See, that is what we want. Every guest we've ever had, they said it was fun.
At
and
the end.
That's what matters.
Angie's always like, just wait.
I'm waiting for it.
Wait and see if they say it.
I don't probe it. Like I wasn't like being, hey, how was it? But everybody says they had fun, and I love it.
I was even prepared for the 3 pieces of advice. You sent me that question, 3 pieces of advice that I would leave. I was like, I was ready for that one too. Like, I came super prepared.
That's how we're leading out here. So,
there.
So beautiful.
We weren't even done yet.
So thank you so much for joining us. This has been so fun. We'll share your contact information as we are leading out. Can you tell people, maybe people that can't come see you just yet, or don't have the opportunity to meet with a financial advisor, if you had 3 pieces of information, 3 pieces of advice that you could give them, what would they be?
Awesome. Well, hey, guys, Dan and Angie, thank you once again for this opportunity. 3 quick pieces of advice that I would give somebody if I was just sitting with them. The first thing is very simple. Confront it.
Oh,
don't hide from it. Don't act like it doesn't exist. Don't walk away from it and just push the bills to the side. You have to confront it. You got to look at your statements. Mm-hmm. You got to look at your debt. You got to look at everything.
Yeah.
Confront it. That'll be the first thing. The second thing is obviously get help. Mm-hmm. Don't necessarily think you can fix everything by yourself.
Yeah.
This is something I say, if we have legal situations, we're quick to get a lawyer. We have medical issues, we're quick to get a doctor. Our car breaks down, we get a mechanic. It shouldn't be any different when it comes to your financial situation. But a lot of times we'll just sit and kind of waddle in everything and not get help.
Let it get worse.
Some help. Yeah. Call James Hicks. Let me help you.
Yeah, love it.
And the third thing is, hey, set yourself reasonable goals. Don't try to shoot for the moon. Don't try to, I'm going to save $20,000 in 6 months. Listen, that's crazy.
Not going to
happen. Right? Even if it's, hey, I'm just going to save $100 in the next 6 months. Set something that's reasonable. Set a reasonable goal and start slowly seeing yourself grow. Even if it's, hey, I'm going to pay off this certain amount of debt, this small bill in the next 6 months. Make sure it's reasonable and attainable. And, every time you achieve a goal, you'll feel better and better about yourself. It'll make it easier to get out of your situation. Those are 3 quick tips.
Very nice.
Great tips.
Very great tips.
Love it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, James. Have a good night. And
thank you, guys.
We will be in touch.
All right, definitely. Thank you, guys. You guys have a good one.
All right, you too. Take
care. Bye, James.
All right, bye.
Bye.
What a great interview with James Hicks. It was interesting to have somebody on the show that does that for a living.
Wasn't it?
Because we've never had anything like that before. So,
I know.
And he's right here in our backyard.
Yeah, and as you mentioned during the break, those 3 pieces of advice that we rolled out with.
Yes. Confront it.
Confront it, yes.
That was like the biggest piece. I mean,
because people don't. I mean, people start. It's almost like
if you just hide the bill, you don't even realize it's there.
You're right. I hate to say it this way, but it's almost like, this is going to be so morbid. But I've heard stories of people that have had like cancer, and it got so bad that by the time they went to the doctor, there was nothing they could do. And all I could think is they knew they had a problem.
Yep.
And they just kept living their life and ignoring it. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things where financial ruin gets worse and worse until you are in bad trouble.
Yeah.
You know?
So he gave such great advice. Like many of our guests, we could have spoken with him for hours and hours and hours on it.
Plus, we had so much in common.
Yeah.
It was just really cool. Every time he said something, I'm like, I just got to hang out with this guy.
But yeah, if you are interested, we will have all of James' information posted on the website, on YouTube. Listen for it. Because he did say the name of his website, Hicks Financial AWM.
That's
there
right.
we go.
And but
Asset and Wealth Management. There we go.
I know, and I do it too. We all like to say the websites. We all like to say the phone numbers, but now you can really just scroll down and click it.
Just click it.
If you're interested, click it.
That's right. Click it or ticket.
No, that was the old billboards for using your seatbelt.
Oh, that's right.
That's what that was.
Click it or ticket.
Click it or ticket. Well, guys, this has already run a little bit long, but we want to thank you once again for joining us. We had such a great time with the interview, and we are going to wrap up, but we do want to remind you, and in the same way I just said, hey, you can just click it. I'm going to say it again anyway.
That's right.
But if you want to call us, you can do so at 407-490-3899. We have a show voicemail there, and on that voicemail, you can leave a message if you know of someone that would be a good guest on the show, or if you yourself would like to be a guest on the show, or if you just have a topic or an event or something that you want us to check out or mention, let us know.
Yeah, and if you don't want to call, just send an email to feedback@fineanddangy.com, or you can message us on our social media as well. Fine and Dangy. That's where you can find us, guys. We appreciate you listening each and every week. We are so excited to just bring you new guests every week, and we have a great lineup for this month coming up.
We do.
October, our favorite month, and starting with James, got to join us as our first guest in October. So thank you so much, James. Thank you to everybody else, and remember to rate, review, and subscribe if you get a chance. I almost missed that, but Dan put it up on the screen and I caught it just in the nick of the time. But guys, remember, at the end of each and every day, it's all fine and dandy.